understanding your starter. There are two main things that you need to remember. One, ratios. What that means is the amount of starter to flour to water that you're going to put into your jar to keep your starter going. So when we maintain throughout all of my videos, all the time, I always keep the same ratio, and it's a 1 to 5 to 5 ratio. What all that means is that there's 1 part starter, 5 parts flour, and 5 parts water, okay? So we will always stick to 10 grams of starter, 50 grams of flour, 50 grams of water. Why ratios are important? There's so many different sourdough recipes out there, and I know for me, if I had known this stuff, I probably wouldn't have been so frustrated at the beginning. I almost quit, and I'm so glad I didn't. But my dough was so sticky and nothing was rising, and I had no idea what I was doing. And the thing is that sourdough is very forgiving, and I think that a lot of people fall into that, they don't know that they're falling into that, but because it's so forgiving, they're doing things and they're trying things and it's kind of working and it's exciting. But then they get bored or frustrated that the crust is too hard or it's too sticky and it's too much work. And that is one of the reasons why you need to keep your ratios the same, consistent. And if you're not maintaining your starter with a consistent ratio, it's going to affect your dough. It's going to affect how much you love it, honestly. It's going to affect how much flour you're wasting. The second most important thing in maintaining your starter is temperature. That's one of the most important things with sourdough, the temperature, okay? The warmer it is, the faster it's going to ferment. The cooler it is, the slower it's going to ferment. And if you're working with a new starter or you're working with a freshly activated starter, you want it to be warm because that is going to affect the health of your starter. So you want it to be fermenting somewhere between 75 and 82 degrees, okay? Check out my troubleshooting video if you want to learn more about keeping your starter warm or cool. Okay, this is how I want you to think of fermentation and your starter. Okay, your starter is active bacteria and acids that's just coming from the air. It's eating stuff up, it's fermenting, and it's eating away at the flour that you feed it, and it's basically pooping out good bacteria and good acids, good things for your body that you want to eat and that we need to eat. And how you take care of this is going to determine how healthy your starter is and your dough, your recipes, all of the things that you're making, okay? You want them to work, right? So in order for them to work, we're gonna stick together and we're gonna use the same ratios throughout all of the videos, okay? If you wanna take your starter and do what you know what to do, and you wanna take it and do what you wanna do with it, that's totally fine. But for those of you who want to learn, stick with me here, okay? I want you to think of your starter as each gram of your starter as a hungry little child running around, okay? So if in this jar I have 500 grams of starter, well, if my starter is hungry children, 500 hungry children running around is a lot of children, okay? So if I were to just dump some flour into this starter right here, it would eat the flour because the flour is the food, okay? If I were to dump this flour into 500 hungry mouths, it's gonna eat all this flour pretty quickly. And that's why you don't need very much of this to keep it going. Because if we take 50 hungry children and feed them 50 plates of food, is it gonna take them longer or a shorter amount of time than if I were to give them 100 plates of food, right? So if you have, the more starter you have going, the more flour you have to feed it. So all we need is a 1 to 5 to 5 ratio. We're just gonna give 10 children, 10 hungry children, 50 plates of food, 50 grams of flour, and it's gonna take it a little bit of a longer time to eat through it. Our two most important things in understanding your starter is the ratios, 1 to 5 to 5, 10 grams of starter, 50 grams flour, 50 grams water, always, every day. Okay, now check out the maintaining your starter video to learn about how we can keep it in the fridge and all that. And if you're having troubles with activating the starter that you've purchased from our website, sourdoughsam.ca or Instagram page, then check out our troubleshooting video and comment below if you have any more questions. Make sure to like and subscribe.